Welcome to the Weekly Forex Forecast for the week ending November 29th, 2024. In today's video, we are talking about the DXY, the Euro, the Pound, and the Dollar CAD. So guys, this is a few days late. I was on vacation last week, so hence the reason that there hasn't been a weekly forecast or really many posts here for the past week. So starting here with the DXY, the US dollar index, we had an incredible run over the past couple of months here, starting with the reclaim down here at 101. So we've talked about this every step of the way. I got a little bit more bullish down here on this reclaim toward these highs and also 102.60. And following the reclaim up here, I did mention that my next target was 104.50. Following the reclaim there, guys, we were looking at this trend line off of that October high from last year, acting as resistance. However, I was still looking for higher from this market up toward 109 to 110, which really hasn't changed. However, with that said, okay, you've got to be a little bit careful here rushing into a new trade because we do have the DXY coming into some significant resistance up here, which this back here is a pivot that I've had on my chart now for months, where you can see that we had lows right back here and we had this high. So right around 108. That is the level right now that the DXY is dealing with. And this is why we saw Friday session retest this area and sell off. So far we are getting a pullback here from the DXY, which is to be expected given the significance of this area up here. Furthermore, the reason we're seeing this pullback is because Friday's move was very significant, not only in the sense that it retested this high from back here. However, it also swept the high from 2023, which served as a range high for this market. Okay, so you can see the reclaim down here. This was bullish. We got the sweep up here above that 2023 high. Okay, so this right here, again, no surprise that we're seeing the DXY pull back. However, I maintain the fact, though, that with the structure here that we've seen over the past couple of months, that when you look at this on the weekly, I still think that we are looking at the DXY potentially heading up here to fill in this candle from back here. So this is the weekly time frame. You can see we got a very shallow retrace of this candle before the drop back here in late 2022. So given the reclaim that we saw back here, right, this was bullish for the market. Also the reclaim of this trend line here. I am still looking at, regardless of how far we pull back, we could pull back all the way toward this trend line. But even if we do that, though, I'm still looking at a continuation of this rally up there toward areas like 109 to 110 to fully retest the top of this channel and also fill in that imbalance from back here in 2022. All right, so overall, guys, I am still bullish on the DXY, so I'd be very careful, just in my opinion, about trying to short the dollar. I do still think that this market has higher to go, but with that said, though, you've also got to be careful trying to buy this immediately just because, again, this was a significant area for the dollar. So I think now is the time, guys, not to rush into anything. You should really never rush into anything, but the great trades were back here following this pullback, the reclaim up here above this level, the breakout from here, and even the retest down here right around 106. Okay, so right now, I think it's time to just kind of be patient and wait for the market to set up for the next move, which could be a pullback here into some value for the DXY before we get that continuation higher. So next up, let's take a look here at the EURUSD, guys, which if you saw recent videos, this played out really, really nicely. So what I've talked about last week, actually for the past couple of weeks, my target for this market following the breakdown from this trend line, okay, this is the weekly time frame, so this was a big move here for the euro, was this low from down here right around 103.50. And the reason for that, as you can see, this was support back here. We got the euro dropping below it, served as resistance. We got the sweep of this area, right, the reclaim back here. However, if you'll notice on the reclaim, we never got a full retest of 103.50, and we had equal lows that had built up at 104.50. So that right there told me that there was an imbalance down here around 103.50. We also knew that given this structure here, given the reclaim back here in this area, right, and the fact that we never got a retest down here, equal lows at 104.50, there was liquidity down here. So as you guys know, if you saw recent videos, this right here was my end of year target, which obviously we got a lot quicker than I thought we would. I thought this would take maybe a few weeks to play out. But we are seeing, 103.50 hit here on Friday of last week and the market bouncing from 104.50. So furthermore, we also had a 4-hour channel here that I talked about before I went on vacation. So on the 4-hour time frame, you can see I took it off here, but we had a channel that developed here off of these highs and these lows to where we got the breakdown here, retest, and that move down there toward 103.50. Okay, so really nice move. So hopefully you guys, made some money on this here if you saw recent videos. Now, looking at the current price action, all right, we do have the DXY coming off of those highs, like I mentioned. So I don't think that now is the time to go looking for aggressive euro shorts. I do think we are probably going to see this market head lower. I don't think that the bottom is in. I'm not yet convinced. Let's put it that way. But I also don't think now is the time to be aggressively shorting this market with it coming into this area down here between 103.50 and 104.50. Okay, so what we could see, if we see the euro come up here and reclaim this recent range. Okay, so if you look here on the daily, you can see that we do have resistance here at these recent range lows. So right around like 105.30. If it can climb back inside of this range, then we could see these highs back here swept before we get a continuation lower back here towards some of these key levels. All right, so that is one scenario. Now, the other scenario here is for a little bit more of a shallow relief rally from the euro up here into this area. Okay, so this candle back here, we could see a move up here into this area. However, for this to be a short, okay, for this right here to be a short, if we were to get it, you'd have to see the euro closing the day below this level. You would not want to see it closing back up here trying to short it, because again, if we see that, we are probably going to see these highs up here swept and get a retest of levels like, 106.60 before we get that continuation lower. Okay, so again, I don't think that the bottom is in here yet for the euro, but at the same time, I also don't like the idea of aggressively shorting this market, knowing that it is coming off of a significant support area down there between 103.50 and 104.50. So next up, let's talk about the pound here, which did hit my target right around 125.60. So this is the trend line off of these lows from back here in 2023. This is what we've discussed here in past videos following the breakdown right back here. And in fact, if you guys have seen, videos going all the way back here to this area, this right here is really when I flipped bearish on the pound, because if you'll notice on the weekly, I'll just recap this quickly for those who missed it. You can see where since the bottom down here, okay, back here in April, you can see where the market made a nice stair-step pattern up. It never closed a week below that previous high until this back here. Okay, this candle right here closed below this weekly close, right? So this was a change in structure for the pound to where I was getting bearish on this weekly close. So we had a range that built up here between the 129 area and 130.50. So we talked about this at length during the time that it was trading there. And then following the breakdown from this range, I was looking for a move down here toward this trend line. All right, so all of that played out, really nicely here for the pound. So where do we go next? Well, right now you can see where Friday did actually close below this. However, this is why I don't like trading late in the week or early in the week, because if you were looking at this close below, you would have been trying to short this before the weekend. And of course, we got a nice little gap up here, and the market is now trying to recover itself back above that 125.60 area. So with this as support, you've got resistance up here off the lows. You can see that was tested today. So really in terms of a swing trade, I think it's going to be difficult here until we see some continuation, either lower or we get a reclaim back inside of this range. So unless we see the pound, closing back within this range, similar to the euro, or closing well below here sometime this week, not on a Friday. Again, you don't want to be trading this on a Friday. If we see, this right here, we're getting that continuation down there toward levels like 123.80. And if we were to get the reclaim back here in this range, then we could see highs like this up here swept and a new range form here. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit tricky though right now with the pound trading between 125.60 support and this level up here. All right, so difficult to tell right now from a swing trading standpoint. Again, I think you've got to wait for some clarification here before the next trade. And this is why I've said, I think that now is the time to just kind of stand aside and wait for the next setup to come, because we have had some really nice moves here from these markets over the past couple of months. So now is the time to protect that capital that you made during that time and wait for the next setup to materialize. So last up, I want to talk about the dollar CAD here, which I've mentioned this one before, but it's worth talking about again, just because we do have the market still holding above this previous consolidation that took about 2 years to play out. So we've discussed this before, but you can see where we have this channel off of the 2015 low back here. And the dollar CAD last tested it back here in 2021. Okay, now it's taken a long time to get up here. And again, this was 2 years worth of consolidation that we are now breaking out of. So even though this has been a slow mover, it's worth talking about again, just because there is a lot of upside here if the market can hold on to this breakout. So in order to do that, what the dollar CAD is going to have to do here is hold above areas like this down here around 138.70. Okay, so it's important in situations like this, guys, to really give the market some room to breathe. Don't try to get in here with a really tight stop. This market has been very slow moving really over the past few years. So if the market can hold on to this area, down here, right, on the higher time frames, maybe we get a sweep down here of this low. But if it can hold on to this on the weekly time frame, then we're looking at that potential move up here toward 142.60. If it can't, obviously, and the market closes a week, back here within this consolidation, okay, somewhere down here in this area closing a week, then that, of course, would start to look bearish because this up here would be a failed breakout. All right, but as of right now, I do like the dollar CAD higher. We'll see how far the DXY pulls back following that retest that we talked about last week. But if this can hold on, then we could be looking at moves up here toward levels like 142.60 and potentially even that channel resistance up above 146. So there's a lot of room up here to play if the market can hold on to this breakout. Of course, again, 138.70 or so, really down toward about 138.60 on the weekly time frame is going to be the level for bulls to hold. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. Don't forget to join us in VIP. Claim your 90% off lifetime access. See the link in the description of this video, or if you're on the website, click on that join VIP link. I will see you on the inside. Trade well out there, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.